Good day, everyone, and Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of Global CIO Forum, Red Hat, and Ingram Micro, I welcome all the attendees to this web summit on Face Up to the Digital Future with Automation and Containerization. In today's web summit, we will learn how automation and containerization together can lead to faster innovation. The shift to containers is more than just a wave in technology. This adoption has its roots in the cultural change amongst IT leaders in an organization. As businesses start to adopt container technology, they become interested in how to combine this tool with virtual machines where most workloads are currently running. In other words, containerization has a great role to play in shaping the digital future. Today's web summit will be led by Wael Ibrahim, Senior Solution Architect at Red Hat. So Wael has a total of 20 years of experience in architecture, design, implementation of software solutions across different business domains. Part of Wael's responsibilities is to help companies migrate workloads to cloud, applying cloud to native development and microservices using DevOps. Wael contributes not only in IT departments, but also with cross-functional teams to drive shared vision and overall IT strategy. He has managed projects in Switzerland, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and UAE. In this web summit, Wael will also be supported by Kalyan Pola, Business Unit Manager, IBM and Red Hat at Ingram Micro. So before I hand over to Wael to kick off the 60-minute web summit, here are some short housekeeping rules. All attendees will be on mute throughout the session. Please do post your questions for the speakers through the chat option, and we'll be happy to take questions across the session. So now I would like to invite Red Hat's Wael Ibrahim to kick off this web summit. So over to you, Wael. Wael, yes, welcome. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, hi, good morning, everyone. Just to confirm that you can hear my voice. Is my voice clear?
Yes, everything is good. Well, if you would like to switch on the video, we'd like to look forward to that also.
Is video switched on or off right now?
Currently, yes, now we can see you well. Thank you.
No, that's fine, no worries. Okay, thank you for the quick introduction. I think we all aware of the topic today, right? We mainly talking about digital transformation and the role of automation and containerization in the digital transformation journey. We have.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your camera is not showing. If you could just adjust.
Yeah, that's fine. I think just to have a better visibility on the screen from my side. Yeah, no worries. Okay. So we have a very, I would say, short agenda. We will try to enrich the content by having, again, the room for discussions and questions, right? But again, mainly we will be talking about digital transformation. What does it mean? And we will be discussing in details the digital transformation from a business perspective, neither technology perspective, but more into what does it mean for us as enterprise IT to contribute to any digital transformation journey. Also, we will highlight some of the common challenges when it comes to digital transformation, and also what could be some of the best practices to overcome those challenges. And definitely the main two topics around the, again, digital transformation when it comes to IT capabilities, the containerization and automation. And last but not least, we'll also touch base at some key technology trends that might also help us in achieving our digital transformation journey. So the first section, we will be just setting the context around digital transformation, discussing what is digital leadership, and showing also some examples around the digital leadership. How common is digital transformation? Is it something, I would say, small enough that we don't have to pay attention or to discuss it, or even have kind of focused discussions around it? The answer is no. We need just to understand that the majority of existing businesses, they already have started their digital transformation journey. This market survey, collecting responses from nearly 1,000 different companies, executives from big companies, right, is showing around 24% of those companies are leading in their digital transformation journey, while 46% are currently transforming, right, in their, again, their digital transformation journey. So they are transforming their traditional business models into digital ones by providing either new services or products. So again, I assume that our business is not odd, right? So you might be either leading or transforming or about to start your digital transformation journey. So talking about the top blockers of digital transformation, this survey shows some interesting results. Again, 20% of the votes, right, given to the IT talent and the skill gap, and it's a top rated kind of blocker, as shown in the survey results, which means some of those companies, they have very good digital strategy, very good vision, and they have clear execution plan, but they struggle with finding the right talent in their enterprise IT community to enable this transformation by adopting the required technology, because definitely there is no digital transformation without very good technology that helps us to achieve the digital transformation goals. Some of those companies, they have very good strategy, they have very good vision, but they struggle, as we said, to find the right IT talent and the right skills, right, to run the technology. Next to it, the second challenge is the security gaps. And this comes in different forms, right? If you look at the security gap and the risks associated with any digital transformation journey, that can be, for example, the regulations, right? So many domain regulations around, and those regulations prohibit companies from digitalization of services and products. So looking at, for example, the financial institutes and banking, in the banking industry, for instance, many of those banks, many of those financial institutes, they are willing to digitalize their products and their services, but industry, either industry or country level, sometimes even regulations, government level regulations, are de-accelerating their journey and forcing them to stay with their traditional business models. No, unfortunately, you cannot take your customer data out to the cloud. Unfortunately, you cannot exchange some of the, let's say, customer details, right, without kind of proper consent management. Yeah. So and so on. So some of those security gaps, right, coming from the level of regulations forced over the enterprises and companies trying to, again, start their digital transformation journey. Another security threat or risk, for example, is moving to a new infrastructure. Sometimes we know that to achieve our digital transformation goals, we need to change our infrastructure. For instance, moving to cloud, for example, right? So we are mainly talking about cloud infrastructure, where enterprise IT community looking for agility, scalability, elastic computing, and again, pay-as-you-go model, for example, to save some cost or whatever, or to save some money for innovation rather than spending it on operations, right? So, and the response from the business community is nothing but no, there is a high risk taking our customer data up to the cloud, or insisting, for example, to keep all the systems, right, especially the systems of innovation, even not the systems of record, right, on premise. No, there is no way you take our data or our systems out there to the cloud, and hence the IT community, they again stuck with the very old data center concept and the static computing models rather than going to the cloud and elastic computing model. So we also can see some other challenges like the cost reduction, right? For example, mandates, the status quo and inertia, some, you know, the comfort zone, right? Why would we need to change, right? Why would I need to learn something new? Why do I need to understand how does the cloud model works, right? Either cloud infrastructure or cloud development model. Let's stick and stay where we are today. And anyway, our business is running as usual. So, well, does this mean we have to stop or give up? The answer definitely is no, right? So the opportunities with transformation are unlimited, and the space for innovation is much more wider than ever before. Looking at some successful organizations and how do they deal with the or utilize the technology will tell us more about the role of the technology in driving this success, right, for the digital transformation. So high-performing organizations, right, are deploying their code around 46 times more than, again, the low-performing ones. So what does this mean? In fact, it's not just about how frequently they are able to deploy their applications and services, but the number, it's a very important indicator of how many new capabilities, either products or services, those companies are producing and how agile they are, right? And how fast they can respond to the market changes and market demand. So it's a very important number. So it's not just about, yeah, hey, I'm able to deploy 100 times a day, while other companies, they struggle to even have one deployment per day. No, it's not just about the how frequently, but the number indicates that there is a lot of changes going on. There is, again, a very fast response kind of from the companies, right, to the different demands and different challenges. Also, a lot of companies started to unlock the value of open source software, right? It is no longer the proprietary software, the closed software, the vendor lock-in kind of IT capabilities, more than just being open source software, and enjoy the vendor unlocking by relying more on open standards and open specifications, where you can get the specification and standard either from the community or from the enterprise, again, software backed by definitely open source community as well. So it means open source software with enterprise support, which is, again, a core requirement for their development as well as the running their production, right? So because definitely, even if it's open standards, open software, and again, open specifications, you still need kind of enterprise level support behind it. Another important number is the use of new technology. And more precisely, we are talking about the cloud-based ones, like containers, microservices, DevOps. As those teams, right, are using the new technology, are mostly 23 times more likely to be high performance, right, than the ones stick to the traditional infrastructure, traditional application development methodologies, and standard ways of just building the software. So what is the promise that comes with digital transformation? It's a simple answer: innovation. So any digital transformation, the main idea behind it is allowing our business community to become more innovative, come up with innovative ideas, better products, right? Reaching out to customers faster, right? And unlocking new market for the businesses. So we need to understand just a small trick here is that innovation does not happen from day one. So it does not mean that we start our digital transformation journey will be innovative from day one. No, right? At the very early beginning, right, we will be spending a lot of time to define how do we work, how do we control and reduce the cost, how do we identify the waste, how do we create value for our organization, which technology we need to adopt, which vendor we need to partner with, right? And so many other things we'll be really busy with. This is why the area for innovation will be a bit less than the, again, the other whatever things we will be worried about. But once we progress and reach our transformation leadership, this is where we focus more on innovation, spending more time, money around innovation. So we need just to understand this pattern, because sometimes some organizations, they start their digital transformation journey and they start, getting questions from either the senior management or executives about where is the outcome. I don't see any change in processes. I don't see any new products. I don't see any new services. I don't see any new markets, right? We're still relying on our physical touch points, right? There is no much added to our portfolio. So we, either enterprise IT or business community, we need to understand that there is a button, right, that again governs the way we drive our digital transformation journey, right? That there will be a time when we're spending more efforts, time, and again money building the foundation for our journey. And once we unlock the technology and we acquire the right talent, right, and we know exactly what is required, then we start again kind of recognizing more innovation versus the cost and time. So this section, we will kind of try to establish what is digital leadership. So yes, we need to start our digital transformation, but I don't want just to start. I want to be one of the leaders in terms of, again, digital transformation. So we need just to understand what does it mean, the leadership here. So organizations can be disrupted by multiple factors, right? Competition, new markets, technologies, startups, right? But leaders use innovation and new technologies to stay relevant in this, again, new playing field. Does not mean, for example, there is a new technology came out and again is eating up the market that we give up. No, we trying also to adapt this technology and adopt it, right, somehow, and integrate it within our business model to again stay relevant in this new market. And organizations that again may appear as disruptors for a while could end up being partners, right? So this is again something we have to think about it, right? Not every disruptor, right, will end up killing us, right, or taking us away from the market, but sometimes down the road we can convert those disruptors into partners, right? And we are behaving in the right way just by having them as part of our business strategy and business plan. So what is the right way and what are the right actions? So simply, right, we need to address culture, processes, and technology. And we all know this, right, for a fact that there is no kind of successful transformation without tackling these three different angles of the transformation journey, touching the culture, modernizing processes, and adopting new technology. So even so, for example, we can see that culture here gained top votes among all other challenges, but culture still cannot be addressed in isolation. So technology and processes need to be considered as well. So adopting new technology, modernizing existing processes still is the formula for any successful culture change. Otherwise, no matter how you try to change the culture and how to try to train your resources, either business or IT, right? If you do not provide them with the right technology, and if you not, again, modernize the existing processes, the culture will not take them anywhere. Good. So where do we invest then, right? So now we know that we need to address the culture challenges, we need to modernize our business processes, we need to adopt some new technologies that will help us in our digital transformation journey. So this is the time for organizations to shift their IT investment then, right? So we need to somehow move the focus from just running the enterprise IT, running the infrastructure, right? Focusing mainly on running it securely at scale with some kind of cost reduction, into, again, some other areas where we are looking for innovation, looking for innovative ideas, looking for agility, productivity, and efficiency. So those are some of the technology pillars, right, and IT investment areas that, again, speeds up the transformation journey. So talking about IT optimization, so it's not acceptable anymore, the level of waste when dealing with either hardware or human resources, right, running our enterprise IT. Addressing, let's say, the business growth, scalability needs, right? We know that when we start the journey, we might need, let's say, 3 physical servers, but down the road, after 1 month of the, 1 year of the transformation, we'll end up having maybe 10, 20 times this capacity, right? So how do we scale, right? But still stay agile, right? We cannot start with a huge investment, especially part of the business transformation also is the agility at the business level. Business might change, right, in terms of planning and producing new products and services. So we need to, again, tackle or address the business growth and the scalability needs, right? And those, again, have to be addressed in a very optimized way, right, than what we have today in terms of data center concept, the physical, whatever infrastructure, or the virtualized infrastructure. This cannot happen definitely without a hybrid cloud infrastructure. So the flexibility of choosing the best fit infrastructure. So now there is no single infrastructure fits for all. Not like before, where we just focusing on building our data center and maybe building another data center for kind of a DR setup or failover, whatever scenarios. It is not the case, or even moving away from physical infrastructure into virtualized infrastructure. It is not also the right solution. We have to have a hybrid cloud strategy. We have to have the right mixture of physical, virtual, public, private, and hybrid cloud infrastructure all together to serve our, again, IT requirements and our business requirements. To guarantee the portability of the workload or all the services and IT systems we are building during the digital transformation journey. So we need to adopt new development models, right? Models that are more cloud native, models that are DevOps enabled, models that, again, make the scalability and resiliency much more easier, right? Since we're moving to cloud. So building a service or a software that runs only on premise does not have any value. Building a software that has to be completely changed or reconfigured when I take it from on-premise to the public cloud or bring it back from cloud to on-premise, again, does not have any value in our digital transformation journey. So we have to focus more on building those cloud native workloads using a cloud native development method. Also, while we are building those cloud native services and get to deploy them on top of hybrid cloud infrastructure, imagine the case we're having hundreds of those services. Some of them are running on premise on our data center, and some are running on different public cloud providers, or even some virtual private cloud or whatever. So we will need to address the integration requirements to get these new services to talk to each other, and also to talk to our monolithic application, because we will not drop those, again, legacy application and legacy infrastructure. We still need to integrate with it. We need to talk to our back-end systems, our enterprise databases, our enterprise solutions like our mail server, and so on, right? So those services have to be equipped with the right integration capabilities. So connectors to reach out to any backend system, either a database, mail server, FTP server, right, or whatever, even business connectors. If I run, let's say, my ERP system in SAP, so I have to have those connectors as part of my, again, technology stack. And definitely, when extracting data from different systems, I will need to do some kind of data transformation to get the data delivered in the right format. And in between also, I need to do some service orchestration to, for example, being able to orchestrate the response out of X number of backend systems and get the response back to the caller. And again, API platform, right, to be able to control access to those services, right, and give clear visibility and analytics about what is going on in terms of accessing those services, and some kind of message broker and data streaming, right, to, again, send and receive the data across. So last capability here is automation, as we cannot imagine managing this huge number of services, and before that, even managing a hybrid distributed infrastructure without automation. So we will end up spending 10 times the time, right, we were spending in managing our data center just to keep our infrastructure up and running without automation. So automation directly means reducing, again, all the time to roll out new services, including, again, the infrastructure provisioning, as well as the application build, test, and deployment. and get again error-prone free processes, because there is no human again actions anymore. Everything will be automated, will be executed through pipelines from infrastructure provisioning all the way to application deployment. So I would like just to share with you one of our public references in Red Hat, Emirates NBD. Emirates NBD, they are again Red Hat Cloud Innovation Award winning in 2019, and I would just like you to listen to a video of 2 minutes, right? That again takes you through their digital transformation journey with a simple but effective digital strategy, which is always available bank. So this is the main objective behind the transformation journey happening there, that we need always available bank, right? Through different channels, again, having different services, right? Digitalizing the everything around, right? And having the bank ready for, again, open banking platform, right? For the integration. So it's just a couple of minutes video. We'll come back to the slides.
Times are changing. I think all organizations need to change. Consumers are deciding who they pick, who they work with, who they bank with.
We see banking similar to electricity, to a telephone, to a mobile network. We want to be able to ensure our customers always have banking whenever they need.
So our aspiration to be that always available bank is really realized through some of the transformation that we're doing.
In the case of the UAE, the regulation still mandates that you cannot take customer data out of your data center to a public cloud. But our question was, how can I be leveraging these technologies now? Because I need it now.
Emirates NBD is very much leading the way. It's embarked on a transformation when no other bank has embarked on a transformation in the Middle East. We're the first ones to set up a private cloud, and we're continually pushing the boundaries.
Sahab is Arabic for white cloud, and this is what we named our internal cloud platform. Sahab provides infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and it also provides a data as a service platform.
For us, it was quite evident that Red Hat was the choice. Red Hat and OpenShift was the choice.
Red Hat brings an engineering culture, which is very much in line with our strategy and where we want to go to from an IT point of view.
Traditionally, it used to take over 6 months to make changes to our large monolithic applications, often running on legacy systems with a high dependency on infrastructure and operations.
It might be hours or weeks to get virtual service or months to get physical service. We're now doing that in minutes, so that's phenomenal from a speed point of view. We now don't focus on operational tasks, we focus on enhancing the platform. I think the key benefit you're going to see for the end user is that always available banking, because we've got a platform now that can auto scale on demand. We've got a dual zone active architecture. We've based everything on OpenShift's platform so that we can look at how we eventually move to the public cloud.
For us, it's really important to make our customers' lives easier. With digital technology, we can do more. We can become more secure. Yeah? We can get more intelligence. Yeah? We can help you manage your money better. Yeah? So there's a lot of value that we can unlock for our customers that we couldn't do before.
Okay, so this is just an example of a successful transformation happened inside Emirates NBD using Red Hat technology. And the main idea was, again, to overcome the regulations and the risk mandated by the country level regulations, right? That we cannot take our customer data out to the cloud, but at the same time, we need to adopt a cloud model. So the answer was to build or bring the cloud to our data center. So bringing a cloud experience, right, to the data center. This again was an easy kind of action, right, by adopting Red Hat OpenShift container platform technology, and again having it to run on again multiple infrastructures, either directly on physical servers or on top of virtualized environment. And with that, okay, the IT was able, or the enterprise IT community, they were able to automate most of their daily tasks when it comes to operations, including also the day 2 ops, as well as automate the life cycle management, the kind of service delivery and the application development, starting from coding, testing, building, deployment, and also looking after the SLAs for the running services in terms of high availability, scalability, and resiliency. So again, in this section, we just need to establish how customer can begin or continue their digital journey in the way, again, that best suits their businesses. And to quickly recap, we need to build certain capabilities while we are trying to address the culture, the processes, and the technology challenges. Those capabilities allow us to optimize our IT, to have an open hybrid cloud strategy, to use new cloud native development methods, and also to acquire agile integration. And finally, to automate everything, right? When we say automation, we do not mean only automating the infrastructure, right? Provisioning and setting up the required technology stack for our applications to run, but also the application lifecycle management. So end-to-end automation. So let's not to, again, lose the focus. So again, those challenges about just more than just technology, right? But also, again, we need to understand that addressing those challenges is kind of easy if we are able to have an open architecture, open processes, and open culture. So open architecture, this is the first time for us in today's session talking about technology, right? So Red Hat having, again, a very rich product portfolio, starting from, again, the infrastructure, very well known Red Hat Enterprise Linux, right? And also OpenStack, building the private cloud, as well as the, again, software defined storage, Ceph and Gluster, right? Also Red Hat virtualization. Also Red Hat is very well known when it comes to middleware stack. So we do have, again, middleware services in terms of application servers, in terms of integration platforms, Views, AMQ, and API management 3Scale, and also in terms of business processes, we have the business process manager and decision manager. But again, this foundation for the infrastructure, as well as the application services that will help developers to speed up the application development, addressing integration and business process automation requirements. Again, there is a kind of missing part here in this formula, which is the cloud native platform. And this is our main discussion today around OpenShift. OpenShift is the, again, container platform coming from Red Hat. OpenShift runs seamlessly on any infrastructure, right? We can say definitely any infrastructure. We say any means on physical, so we can run it bare metal, virtualized environment, right? So VMware, for instance, Hyper-V or from Red Hat. Talking about private clouds, VMware Private Cloud or OpenStack, for example. Also, OpenShift is certified on the public cloud providers, including Azure, including Google, and including Amazon. Okay, and also again, it can be again used as a managed service, right? With, again, help of Red Hat and the cloud provider teams. So we do have the managed service on top of AWS, and we have it also on top of Azure. So again, the basic and the core layer, right, in OpenShift is Red Hat Enterprise Linux or Red Hat Core OS. Again, it's Core OS it's an immutable operating system. Has nothing to do, again, when it comes to day two ops. You don't need to batch, you don't need to upgrade, you don't need to fix, right? Everything will be coming from the platform. So it's an embedded operating system. And this operating system comes with all the security aspects inherited from Red Hat Enterprise Linux. On top of it, we have Kubernetes, the de facto standards when it comes to container orchestration. So this orchestration engine helping the platform to manage and run the container securely at scale. We don't stop there, but we add set of cluster services, because we know definitely once you start adopting this new technology and trying to, again, adopt kind of open architecture and open technology. So you will need a set of services that will let us focus more on delivering capabilities on top of the platform rather than just spending time on managing this platform. So we have a set of cluster services, including the automated ops. So you need just to understand that OpenShift installation is fully automated, no matter what is the underlying infrastructure you are using. So the installer is automating everything end to end, including even provisioning the required infrastructure on the different providers. Also automated day two ops. So in terms of batches, updates, upgrades, right? Even scaling the infrastructure, right? To take more workload or to add more capacity in terms of storage or in terms of compute or whatever. So this is fully automated experience. Also including the over-the-air updates. So if you really, again, don't want to spend a lot of time analyzing, for example, what is coming in terms of batches, fixes, whatever, right? You can just leave it to the platform. The platform has the ability to apply any updates, and updates are applied with the resiliency, surface resiliency in mind. So we never bring your workload down for the sake of upgrading or updating the platform. Also, it has built-in monitoring, so you don't have to worry about the monitoring your resources in terms of CPU and again resource consumption, CPU, memory, storage, and so on. It also has built-in container registries. This is a place where you can securely store your container images, because once you start the container adoption journey using OpenShift, everything coming from your development or your system integrators or even independent software vendors will be just coming as container images. So you definitely need a place where you can securely store those container images and have proper role-based access control on top of it to again specify or to determine who is able to deploy or push a new image or have a new release of container image. Also built-in networking, so you don't have to worry if you end up running thousands of containers on a shared infrastructure. Do I really need to worry about managing the container network space? How many IP addresses, the IP address conflicts, board level communication, network policies? No, you don't have to do, because OpenShift comes with built-in container network, which is a software-defined network. Also routing, so if you, for example, having multiple containers running next to each other to, again, achieve high availability setup. So I don't have to worry about internal load balancing and how do you manage the traffic across, because it's a built-in capability within the platform. Also including ability to run virtual machines on top of OpenShift. So OpenShift also, as it allows you to run containers, you can use OpenShift virtualization to again run and manage virtual machines on top of OpenShift. And the main idea behind this capability is to bring your monolithic application and your legacy workloads to the platform. So it's not platform, or the platform is not only for the innovative software or the new software you build it as a cloud native, but also if you have monolithic applications that run only on virtual machines, you still can provision those virtual machines on top of OpenShift and get those monolithic workloads to run on top of OpenShift, enjoy all the services. Part of the platform also is the, platform services, right? Focusing mainly on the developer experience. So the development team does not have to leave the platform for sake of, let's say, managing their services. So as they develop more services and deploy them, they will need to have clear visibility, what we call it usually traceability and observability, to observe those services and trace the requests coming from the, different channels all the way to backend systems, right? And monitor those services. Also to automate the life cycle, including the pipelines to, let's say, automate the source code build, testing, and deployment. Also full stack logging, and again, if required, chargeback mechanism, right, for the shared infrastructure, including the multi-tenancy as part of the platform service. Also moving to the application services, where the development teams, they want to enjoy the different programming languages, right? Because they want to develop in Java, .NET, Python, Ruby, Go, PHP. So all are shipped as part of the platform. They also, as we said, agile integration is a core capability for any transformation journey. So the platform comes with built-in integration services with a wide range of connectors, transformation, and orchestration engines, with message broker, with again Kafka implementation for data streaming, for API management, as well as the business process automation, right, for automating your business processes, so including the Red Hat Process Automation Manager and the Red Hat Decision Manager for building your business rules. Last but not least is the developer services, because your, again, development community, they will need developer tools, they need IDEs, they need command line interfaces, right, to interact with the platform, to be able to deploy new services and build new services. So again, OpenShift comes with a wide range of those tools, including Visual Studio Code plugins, including Red Hat Workspaces, which is Eclipse-based. We have the desktop version, we have the web-based version, right, and some other tools. Definitely, you will not end up having one cluster or one OpenShift install base running, but you will have multiple, and definitely you will have multiple clusters running on different infrastructure. So you might be again, or you might end up having a cluster running on premise on, let's say, physical infrastructure next to another cluster running on virtual, while you're taking your another cluster to the cloud for sake of experimenting or moving your development environment there. This is where we're having a layer on top of OpenShift called the ACM, Advanced Cluster Management, and this is a cross-cluster management layer. So no matter how many clusters do you have, how many OpenShift install base you have, and where do they run, and which infrastructure they are running on top of, right? ACM comes on top of all the, again, the install base and giving you one single glass of, again, pane of glass, right, to manage cross clusters. So this management is not only about the platform, and it's not only about managing the OpenShift platform in terms of updates, upgrades, scalability, and services running there, but also your workloads. So as simple as you can take one service, right, and choose to deploy it across, right, with a click of a button. You take a new service, right, from the build pipeline, and you say, I need to deploy this on premise and take it to AWS and take it to Azure and take it to let's say Google, right? So it's one click of a button. Also, when you scale this workload, I need to scale it, so you can scale it across again the hybrid cloud. And this is what makes the hybrid cloud meaningful. Why? Because you end up having a platform which is a container ground up, because as we said, containers, they add a great value, or sorry, we didn't say, we maybe the right time to say it, right? Containers, they add a great value to, again, our journey. Why? Because simply they allow our development team to choose the right technology, to adopt the best ever frameworks, to use the best ever, let's say, runtimes, right? And without, again, adding an overhead to our operations team, because every time we, the development team, we wanted to use a new technology, the challenge was whether our ops team is able to manage this infrastructure securely at scale or not. Most of the time, the answer was no, because we have enough administrators and system admins. They can run Java securely at scale, .NET securely at scale, but bringing a new technology to the infrastructure would require extra skill sets or require training or require new investment, right? Containers, they overcome this challenge. Why? Because they allow the development team to choose the right technology, the right frameworks, the right runtimes. And once they are done, they package the application code, the business code, along with all the technology stack required to run it. So there is no need now for any kind of pre-installed infrastructure. You just need to have a platform where the container that has the technology stack, along with our application code already ready, packaged inside a container image. And this container image is portable. You take it, run it anywhere. This is where the container, they really unlock the technology from development perspective. And from operations perspective, definitely they add great value because they are much more, right, again, lighter than virtual machines. Unlike virtual machines, container, they don't need guest operating system to run. Rather than that, they share the host operating system. So there is no, again, guest operating system running on a container. This reduces the container size. And also in terms of resource requirements, they are much more smaller, right, in terms of resource consumption. And also one important difference between the container workload versus virtual machine is that containers, again, they adopt what is called the elastic computing model versus the static computing model. So for a virtual machine, you have to define a static configuration for a virtual machine to configure it for a specific number of compute power or memory or storage, while containers, they are not. Containers, they do not block resources upfront. They just use the resources as they need. We definitely don't lose the control because we have a platform to control right, how much our containers can grow and how much of the resources can be utilized by each and every container. So this is all given by OpenShift container platform that allows you to run those containers securely at scale. On top of it, also OpenShift provides you with storage management. So definitely when you run those containers, you need to have different storage, again, types, either block or file or object storage. So OpenShift Container Storage is a containerized version of Ceph, our software-defined storage, managed and running on top of OpenShift, allowing developers as well as operations team to provision all the storage, again, requirements for a container workload. And it's very flexible and also automated with operator-based deployment model. So it means the day-to-ops of the storage management is also taken care by the platform in terms of upgrades, fixes, updates. It also has a cloud storage gateway. So it means even running OpenShift on-premise, you still can, let's say, provision storage on the cloud and start using it directly from your on-premise workload. Also, OpenShift comes with a built-in surface mesh, as we said, to speed up the microservice development functions, right? So, again, new development models, right, that is required for building services on top of the cloud. So if you need to build SaaS, fast function as a service or serverless capabilities, also OpenShift is shipped with a serverless platform. And as we said, being common fabric, runs anywhere on any infrastructure with automation, with infrastructure services, day-to-ops, application services, and also the DevOps experience, having the built-in CI/CD pipelines with, again, automated lifecycle management for your services, including the application build, test, deployment, and configuration management, plus, again, the monitoring, as well as the traceability and observability, and the developer tools and the huge ecosystem around it to provide you with the certified images and certified software runs on top of OpenShift. And always remember, having all these capabilities with open hybrid cloud strategy that, again, allows you to run those platforms together on top of any infrastructure, either on the cloud or on-premise. I think we can stop here for the sake of the time. I just want to keep the last 10 minutes for the questions and the feedback. So I will give the control back.
So I'd like to call
Kalyan.
Kalyan. Hello.
Yes.
I'd like to call Kalyan if you would like to add a few words.
Sure. I hope everybody can hear me. Okay,
Perfectly
so
please go ahead.
Perfect. Good afternoon, good morning for some of you. Hope you and your loved ones are doing good, staying safe. Thank you, Vail, for that excellent presentation and insights on how to pace up to the digital future with automation and containerization. Right, so I think so the current buzzword in the industry is digital transformation, because not all the organizations today are equally created. And as you all know that we are going through these uncertain times, now more than ever, the global community has to come together to face the coronavirus, the COVID-19 crisis. As introduced by the team, I myself, Kalyan, I head the IBM and Red Hat business at Ingram Micro. As you all know that already 70% of the companies today has gone through this digital transformation, and they have digital transformation in place, or they're working on one of them. But it seems most of the companies were not far enough to make COVID-19 a non-issue. There are a few reasons why this COVID-19 has forced companies to visit a digital transformation faster, because it's more like a before and after movement for before COVID and after COVID digital transformation. The goal of a digital transformation, as you understand from Vail's presentation, is to use technology to solve traditional problems, which means integrating technology into every area of the business. And when it is done in the right way, digital transformation allows companies to provide unprecedented values to your customers, to your end users, right? So with that, I don't want to take a lot of time because this slot is meant for question and answers, but we as Ingram Micro, a value-added distributor, are here to help you with any kind of a solution aggregation, multi-vendor architectures, multi-partner, and we help partners to create their own IPs as well. And we are here to support you in this digital transformation. Please reach out to us in case you need more information. With that, I will pass it back to the team.
So thank you, Kalyan, and we have a few questions coming in. So Ibrahim, if you're ready, if you're ready, we can start a few questions. The first one is around training and channel partner skills. So I think, Kalyan, this is over to you, and of course, while you can also add in, what is the sort of training services which are available from either Ingram or the channel partners in Saudi Arabia and UAE? Go ahead, Kalyan.
So this question is definitely to me. So as most of you are aware that we have signed up with Red Hat as a value-added distributor in the MENA region. We have the training calendar for our business partners for the complete ecosystem, right from the sales enablement to the deployment. So you can write to us and we will be more than happy to assist with your calendar where we have the upcoming trainings, which is more of a virtual trainings, because at this current scenario, we are unable to do any face-to-face trainings, but we have a lot of virtual sessions planned for our business partners on the Red Hat portfolio. So please feel free to reach out to me and we will be more than happy to assist you with that.
While in this respect, there are two other interesting things. I think there's a lot of certification type of courses which Red Hat provides as online. I think Kalyan is referring to the same thing. But typically, how would an enterprise progress in terms of skills? What are the sort of stage-wise skill development that happens inside an enterprise? Go ahead, Ray.
Perfect, thank you. So I would like to quickly bring your attention to something very interesting from Red Hat side, is that we know that it's a journey, right? And it will take you not only the technology kind of gap, but also the open practices, right? So this is why OpenShift designed a complete training programs, right? So some of those programs are designed for enterprises, others are just designed for individuals. So we have a training track, for example, for instance, talking about OpenShift, we have a training track that has different 5 courses included. One of them is the foundation, where we take you through the container concept. What is container, why they are important, and what does it mean for a developer, and also for again the operations team, and why it is so different than managing the, again, legacy infrastructure today, either perimeter or virtualized, and how close it is for the cloud, right? And also taking you through the orchestration, container orchestration engine, Kubernetes, for example. What does it mean? And the good news, even in this part of the training track, some courses are free, right? So, for example, I think the introduction inside this 5-course track is free, while, for example, the other 4 courses focusing on administration and development. So we have administration 1, administration 2, we have development 1, development 2. Definitely you can take the training and then later you can get the certificate. But also, as we said, it's not only about technology. We do have, again, a set of open practices training that takes you not only through the technology, but also through the best practices when it comes to dealing with containers, dealing with DevOps culture, dealing with microservices design, dealing with cloud native development. So we do have some courses designed around this, including DO 500 and DO, I think, 100. So those courses are designed for best practices and also taking you through the journey with hands-on experience. We do also have a kind of we don't call it training, more than just consulting kind of frameworks like Open Innovation Labs, where we inject our engineers next to your engineers working on your business pipeline, right? So we take some of the business demand and we convert it into production ready workload. So which means we do not only train, but we do it with you while we are training the team. This is either at the enterprise level or individual level.
Thank you, Well. And right in the beginning of your presentation, we had seen that very interesting comparison about performers using code at least 46 times and 23 times and 2 times more than lowest performers. So I think your presentation has really triggered some interest in the code. And I think this video, there's a question now around that video, which was Emirates NBD. What is the architecture which allows organizations like large organizations like Emirates NBD to re-engineer their solutions in a short period of time? I think there was a reference in the video where the Emirates NBD team referred to very quick changes in their architecture and business logic. Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Yeah, definitely. So part of the OpenShift adoption program is definitely discussing the value stream mapping, right? So every IT organization, they have their own waste, right? In terms of hardware or software licenses or even human resources. I do not mean definitely get rid of human resources, but get the best utilization of the resources. So in the video, if you remember, they were talking about weeks time frame for rolling out new services reduced to hours, right? So it means now every new demand or a new request probably taking hours in terms of provisioning new services versus weeks, right? And if you try to analyze where was the waste, right? You will figure out it's not only about coding, right? It's not only about ability for application deployment team to deploy services, or not only about the ability to operations team or the capacity planning team to increase the again the infrastructure and scale it out to take more workload. It was a combination of all these things, right? Including the lead time for any service to be rolled out. So sometimes code is ready, but we're waiting for the application deployment team. Sometimes the code is not ready, but application deployment team is ready with one component that has dependency to another. Another time, yeah, we all are ready, but unfortunately infrastructure is not ready because again, we will need to upgrade certain component here or there. Look at the waste when it comes to configuration management, where you have, let's say, differences between different environments. The SIT is different than UAT than production, and we upgraded this here. It works on production, but on UAT, but failed on production because of missing library or misconfiguration or different release or version. So imagine all those challenges all of a sudden. You are offloaded of this, right? And you're giving it to a platform where this platform is taking care of provisioning the required infrastructure with streamlined process, right? Across technology, the exact same way you provision your Java, it is the same you provision your .NET, your Python, your Ruby, your Go, your PHP, whatever. And not only that, but you're having also the configuration management as part of it. And before that, you streamline your application, again, packaging strategy around containers. That means you come over all the configuration challenges, right? Because you have one single container built once and is taken to all other environments deployed the same way, right? Having all the packages or the dependencies, either again runtimes, middleware components, configuration, whatever, already packaged within the container image, right? So this is where we're saying that we get the team finally, right, to offload the team finally of those, routine jobs and all the, again, the human mistakes and all the, again, the challenges with the configuration management, release management issues, and we get them to focus only on writing business code, on delivering business capabilities, or thinking about new ideas and how do we quickly implement and get them up and running in hours time frame versus weeks time frame. Part of it the technology, but we need also to understand that the team has to change in terms of processes. So it is no longer the waterfall method where we have to go through a full business analysis and wait for the analysis. Every change has to go through a very lengthy process. No, we have to also transform our business to be agile and set the right expectations, right, in terms of the business demand and our ability to deliver services meeting the business demand. This is why we have to really think about creating a DevOps community, right? We're having a DevOps teams, right? And no matter what will be the final model of this team, either a fully DevOps or kind of SRE, site reliability engineers, or ninja teams where they can one day sitting with the developers, the next day sitting with the ops team. But anyway, the capability has to be there. How do we implement it? What will be the final team model? This is something can be discussed and can be agreed on, right, based on the different requirements. But this is kind of the high-level picture, what happened in ENBD, starting from the technology and getting the team to focus more on building capabilities and getting them hassle-free platform that takes care of everything end-to-end, lifecycle management, infrastructure provisioning, data ops, and again, infrastructure services. I hope this just gave you some light. I know the story is much bigger than, again, and can be shared in 5 minutes, but I just try to make it easy and
Sure.
usable.
So, well, very interesting and very deep dive into how organizations can change their architecture and business logic. So, Kalyan, any comment you would like to add on that, on how open source or the OpenShift solutions and architecture can help applications change rapidly? Any comments you'd like to make?
I think Vail has covered it nicely, so I don't want to add anything over and above. But the only thing I would like to make again reiterate is about this global pandemic. So every day is filled with more challenges and changes, and how we live and how we work, right? So we need to get together with this challenging and uncertain time, and we all want to reassure you that collectively we are working diligently with Red Hat and other software vendors in the region, and we are trying to help our customers to pass through this turbulent times.
Thank you, Kalyan. So last question for both of you before we close this web summit. Well, there was this slide which you presented about the positioning of cost efficiency versus user experience, and how organizations can progress along, managing, balancing these two. So the question here is, I think, what is the difference in the OpenShift architectures between these two phases as cost efficiency progresses and transforms into enhanced user experience? Any comments on that, Well?
Sure. See, the main idea behind the overall architecture of OpenShift is that you can start small, right? We know that, yes, with any transformation journey, you don't want to spend a lot of time, right, and money in building an infrastructure, and down the road you might be changing your mind, right? Or all of a sudden you have a new, let's say, demand where the easy way of doing it, taking it out to the cloud. So OpenShift, as again, cloud platform, right? As we said, runs everywhere, right? And you can run it just achieving high availability, but bare minimum resources. So you can start small for experimenting or piloting the implementation. Yes, you get a full-fledged platform with a full capability, but at the infrastructure level, it's a small scale where, let's say, your development team as well as operations team start experimenting the platform capability. And also we gradually lift the team knowledge and skill sets, right, to the level where they can start utilizing the integrated developer experience. I have so many other examples. Some of them are not public. Yeah, we can just share the numbers. Again, one of the, I would say, the biggest airlines here in the country, right? We're talking about reducing the developer onboarding process. Yeah, and imagine having a new developer joining our team. That used to take from 2 to 3 weeks, right, in the regular kind of experience. With OpenShift, it was reduced. Don't be scared. It was reduced to 5 to 10 minutes based on the set of tools and the whatever technology they are dealing with, from weeks to minutes, not just hours, right? So this is the onboarding experience for a new developer to start being productive in terms of, yeah, taking over some tasks and start contributing to the development, right? So we also need to understand that, yes, this experience is fully automated, so you don't have to worry about building, let's say, DevOps infrastructure or having your automation server somewhere where you create, let's say, pipelines. No, everything is again integrated experience, right? Either you're using, as we said, Red Hat provided technology, or even other vendor technology, or even in-house built technology. So all are again integrated experience, and the good part is that seamless experience. So if you invest today in doing this in a small scale on premise, and tomorrow to grow, you need to go to the cloud, there is zero change of what you are doing. That's why we're saying it's a common fabric that brings not only the utilization of infrastructure, no matter where it's coming from, but also lets you carry out your developer experience and dev or operations team experience along with the platform, wherever the platform goes. I hope this makes it a bit clear.
Yes, thank you, Well, for that deep understanding. So I think as we come to the end, I'd like both Well and Kalyan, any key takeaways which you'd like to offer to the attendees as we close the session? Kalyan, over to you. Any key takeaways, any recommendations, best practices that you would like to summarize?
Sure. First of all, let me thank everyone for taking time out of the busy schedule to join this session. And thank you, Well, for the wonderful presentation on digital transformation. Right. So, any help you would need in terms of your journey with this digital transformation, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to support you in terms of your journey, enablements, or any kind of architectures or any kind of an aggregation efforts. We are here to support you.
Thank you, Kalyan. Ibrahim, any key takeaways, any best practices, recommendations you'd like to offer to the online attendees?
Thank you, first of all, for attending the session. I hope it was informative enough. I know, again, everything was very high level, just key messages, but I hope we leave you with kind of level of interest where you can go back discussing either at the individual level plan or the enterprise IT plan, right? Where do we need to take our IT, right, to the next step, to be very in line with our business transformation and the digital transformation journey. Also at the personal level, you can anytime go online and search for, let's say, learn.openshift.com, right, where you'll find some interactive tutorial that takes you through OpenShift concept from the, again, what does it mean OpenShift, all the way to some advanced interactive training. All are free, right, just for you to enjoy. And also it's interactive, so along with the training material, you can find OpenShift instance already provisioned where you can experiment and go through the, again, the hands-on experience. Thank you again, and I hope you enjoyed it.
So thank you very much, Will, for that absolutely fascinating presentation. It was great learning for me to see how good code, good competency in code can actually boost digital transformation. We heard a lot about vendor-driven solutions, but this is a good opening into how open source is also pretty much fundamental, and the role that Red Hat's Kubernetes, DevOps, and OpenShift plays in boosting digital transformation. So excellent presentation, and thank you, Ibrahim and Kalyan, for participating. So on behalf of Global CR Forum, Red Hat and Ingram Micro, Whale and Kalyan here, I thank all the attendees for sitting through this 60+ minutes of absolutely engaging content and discussion. I look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye and thank you.